And good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
What's going on? It's Mike and Waslick along with Paul Lash. And no Waslick today.
She's here in spirit.
She's here in spirit. She had some family business she needed to attend to.
Yep.
So we will see Kathy again at some point, or Rich at some point in the future.
Yep.
So, Paul, thanks for coming in.
Oh, no. Lucky he caught me because I was...
Yeah, retired 80, got so much shit to do. I know.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about what that is, though.
We hear Paul has an appointment at the massage parlor. You know,
Dog groomer.
dog groomer. Oh, that's right. That's right. And he only owns his cats.
Yep.
Call it whatever you want to call it.
That's it. Okay, this morning we are blessed to have the Plainfield First Selectman Kevin Cunningham with us today.
Is that the Honorable Kevin Cunningham? How do you say?
Well, that's usually how they would be in a letter of some sort.
So the Honorable.
The Honorable Kevin Cunningham.
Let's get it right.
As I refer to him as Mr. President. How you doing,
That's not
Kev?
how my wife refers to me.
I'm surprised Luann let you keep this job.
Well, at least he's
No,
a
she
president
says
inside
I'm
awake.
here for one reason, according to her, the money.
Oh yeah, no.
Yes.
You know what? I'll tell you. I have a friend who we're not going to name this person on air, but he says, he goes, the guy's crazy. He's there 7 days a week at the town hall. He, when they're not open, he's working. He's there on Saturday. He's around on Sunday. He's everywhere. So, yeah.
And
So-
volunteer.
Yeah.
I'm also a member of the Lions Club. Volunteer my time there. As many other opportunities as I can. I'll try to help out around town. So
Sure. Well, I think you've proven that, and this is not anything against anybody else in any other party, which we'll get into. Of course, with the election coming up. But in the two terms, you've been in.
Yep.
You're looking for term number 3.
Yep.
I think it's quite evident that you're very visible, extremely accessible. I wonder sometimes if you're too accessible. Have you ever had that talk that you're too accessible
to myself.
to yourself?
Yeah. Because I give out my cell phone number to people. Obviously, they can reach me via email as a town hall or calling the town hall. They also can access me online as well. And, they'll ask questions at all hours of the day or weekend or night. So it's something, though, if you at least put the time in, the effort in, and support as best you can, then you're, in my opinion, you're doing what you are supposed to be doing for the town. So accessibility is key. It's that transparency that you have to.
It's very important.
Yep.
It's very, very important. And I know, just like, working with you and working alongside you, when you had a talk show here years ago. God, how long have we been here now? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You are very transparent, and you don't hide anything. And if there's something you can't talk about because you can't, and you look at me and I can't talk about it. Okay.
Yep.
It eventually comes out, but at some point. So, do you believe? Now, here's one thing that I've always had a hard time understanding as far as Grizzled is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Grizzled First Selectman job, regardless of who the person is, it's not designated as a full-time job. There's nothing that says it's a full-time job. Is it like that in Plainfield? Do you guys have a charter, or
We have a charter.
okay, that says it's a full-time job?
It doesn't say anything about full-time, but it has to be. And I would say that, I would say that, by the way, to any other town who has a selectman position as the leader of the town, it should be a full-time position, because how do you respond to your residents on a part-time basis, or how do you respond for businesses to discuss things with them on a part-time basis? Look, I'm only going to be here on Monday and Friday, or Monday and Wednesday. I'll get to you when I get to you. That's you need access. What happens if something goes on in your town where there's an emergency situation and you're supposed to be able to be accessed? They can pick up a phone, but in reality, you have you have a lot of responsibilities for your residents. So I
Right.
think it's important for people to understand, even if it was, I won't, I mean, Griswold, you have is it full-time or part-time?
It's not designated either way.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing that says you have to work X amount of hours.
Well, I'm going to get into that for a
Okay,
second.
sure.
So did you have something recently with a policy about punching in and punching out for an
Yes.
elected position?
Yes. For the registrar of voters
Voters only.
only.
Well, why only?
That's the way the policy is.
First of all, I would say why, right off the bat. Your elected position. Let me put it like this very clearly.
Yep.
If I'm an elected position and I don't show up or I only make my own hours, do you think that's going to be reflective in the next time I run?
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
it's incumbent upon me to be there.
Yep.
To make a policy about it, you can't. You cannot do anything. What's the policy going to do? I want to know the hours you're working. Why?
Right.
I mean, you can't fire anybody.
Well, it's like being salary too, because I think that individual gets paid a salary automatically anyway. So punch it in or punch it out.
I mean, what's the difference between a salary and a stipend? There's got to be
well,
some language there that
there's got to be
separates the two.
something. You're right. There's got to be some difference there, but
Does that, is one, mask you as an employee and one as a non-employee, like an independent contractor kind of thing? I don't know. I don't know what the
independent
language
contract
is
is a little bit different.
right. But then again, I mean, when you're getting a stipend, that's like, okay, you're just here to do a job for a part of, certain part of time. Like I know like coaches in high schools and stuff, they get a stipend, so
Still paid for by the town.
right. It all comes from the same bucket, but
Yeah.
So I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know
question.
either, but
Um,
that seems to be an issue that's going on right now. Apparently, an individual hasn't been paid yet, so
Yeah.
that's not.
And apparently there's a lawsuit that is pending with this as well. I don't really know much more
Registrar
about it.
hasn't been paid. Is that what we're talking about?
The individual has not been paid because there was no time clock pushed.
There was no punch in and punch out.
Oh, there'll be a lawsuit.
There is a lawsuit.
Yeah. So that's that. And this person was very vocal, at the last Board of Selectmen meeting, saying that this is going to happen, and that was it. So
Time will tell.
I don't know. I mean, look. I mean, as far as a policy is concerned, I'm thinking if they do a policy like that, if the Board of Selectmen puts that in place,
They're all.
it's got to be for everybody.
That's what you
know,
think.
and if you're already salary or whatever, I could understand timekeeping for like security purposes, insurance purposes. You know what I mean? Like, okay, something happened. Were you in the building? No, you weren't punched in. You weren't here. Or even, stuff for like 401k or
But there's no
workman's comp and that
none
kind
of
of
that.
stuff.
There's none of that for elected individuals. They don't get any 401k, right? Nothing.
Oh, I say I don't know.
I would
don't
say
know.
no. I would say no elected official has any kind of benefits. It's not a town employee.
There are benefits available, and that's something that I'm trying to work on to clarify, because you should know what each and every one of your elected officials will access for benefits. And right now, we follow a certain union as the comparative for salaries. Yeah, look at that.
Sorry.
He's got us on repeat.
Victoria says, "Good morning, Kevin."
Good morning, Victoria.
So you don't have any kind of health benefits, right? No.
Yes,
You do?
yes.
You get them as elected official.
Yes,
Okay.
you should. I mean,
Oh, I don't know. Actually, I was just questioning that because you're really a town employee.
you're not going to get a pension,
Oh, you can get a pension.
but you could, based on, in other words, what's written up, what's documented. You understand and know the job responsibilities, and you're going to be working certain hours. And
Right.
But isn't there? I mean, if I'm a selectman and I get voted in one term, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that entitle me to a pension from the town?
all depends on how your pensions are written up, how the policy for pension is.
So if I elected for 2 years and then I lose, I still can get a pension.
All right. I'll use a Plainfield
Okay.
example. So what it would normally be would be you'd get, let's say, just one term, so 2 years.
Yeah.
Your pensions would say, under your pension policy, would say that in order to be fully vested, you have to have 10 years in.
Ah,
So you
Okay.
could apply and you'd get 20% of that,
Oh, okay.
not the full 100%.
Gotcha. No, okay. All right.
Would Plainfield put a policy in like that?
Let's see what those two letters, N-O, no.
That's
Is it-
interesting.
I don't want to open up the town for lawsuits. I mean, that's what it would end up being.
It-
If I was to say,
Well, then that's what kind of this one did too.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
apparently.
you say to the tax collector, you got to punch in, punch out. As an elected official, they don't have to. Like I said before, if you don't want to show up, it's on you. It hurts the town. It hurts your own reputation.
Right.
So it's really something I think that should have been discussed.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, somebody looked it up, and at one,
Right. There's Norwich.
yeah, Norwich.
No, I mean,
Oh.
he said the Norwich.
One of the things that I totally lost my train of thought.
Somebody looked it up.
Oh. I guess the first selectman does have the flexibility to create this policy.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, they can do it. But I don't know if they can withhold payment because that's an elected official.
My suggestion would be to call the state elections division and talk to someone there about that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's talk Plainfield.
Let's
Okay.
talk
Let's
about
talk
Plainfield.
So we do know that Kevin Cunningham is is at the end of his second term, coming towards the end of his second term, looking to get elected for a third term.
Yep. And if you count the one from before,
It's 3.5.
Well,
you were there what, a year?
2005 to 2007, so that was
Okay.
one term.
Okay.
And then back in 19 and
That's
currently.
right.
Yep.
Do you think that, well, let me ask you this. I mean, what's the difference between the 2005 Kevin Cunningham first selectman and the 2023 first selectman Kevin Cunningham?
The beard.
The beard.
The beard.
The loss of hair, the gray hair. No. Really, it is a little more thought put into a lot of the things that we've been doing versus what was or what wasn't happening then.
Mhm.
Every term from that point on is I would say from that point on, I've been watching very carefully, looking at what I was able to do back then. There were some limitations based on the types of businesses, the climate, the economy. But I think I've put a lot more thought into what's happening and try to bring forth as many things as possible. And I do mean that, because if I put together a list of all the things that we've done in the last, this past 4 years, and I keep on going, oh yeah, I forgot that too. And I forgot that. We did this and did that. It's for the public to understand. And that's ties right into what you started off with. I'm there all the time.
Yeah.
Is because I care so much about our transition of where we're going as a town, as a region, that I put a lot of time in just to make sure that everything's done to the best of the ability. So, it might seem insignificant for some of the things, but there's a lot behind the scenes that go into that. I would just say that a couple of different things. I just started off with talking about what happened with Better Value. Better Value in the town of Plainfield was purchased by a company that came in, Discovery Group out of Providence. And that gentleman is a professional and he does great work. And he had a plan and a vision, and he's going through with all of those things he said he was going to do. I applaud him for that. But you also work in the background to make sure that you know what you can do as a town leader to help him out, go through all the proper steps. What about bike night? We do. This is the third bike night we've had now. We're going to continue that theme, I hope, and keep going forward, making it a little bigger. Right now, the only thing that holds you back on bike night is space. How much space and room do you have? But you want to be supportive, because it seems insignificant, but the reality is when you have an event, it spurs a lot of business growth, because your economy can move forward off of that. So a bike night. You have a bike night down here. You used to have one, right? Just down the street.
Yeah, we haven't had one since.
Yeah, I know.
So.
But you try to make it so that it's a economic boon for the businesses.
Sure.
You include them. You ask them would they like to run some specials, and then you can make sure they're safe too. So you have the police there, you have the highway there, fire departments there, ambulance. You make sure that it's run properly, and it is a win for everybody. So those are the things you look at and you say, well, it doesn't look like much, but in reality it is, because you're making sure that you're trying to bring in as much for things to do for the economy, for the businesses, and for the people. So you coordinate that with the people that ran it, be supportive as possible for it, and it ends up being a very successful event. So we have a lot of those. I mean, we just had a very busy weekend. We had our usual annual 60-second VJ
VJ
parade.
Day Parade. Yep.
Yep. So that was.
I was scarred for life on a VJ Day Parade.
Yeah.
I was 3. And I don't know if you remember. How long have you been in Plainfield?
I've lived there since '86.
Okay. So this is well before that. This is like 1970. We used to live on Lake Street.
Yep.
And there were a couple of. Remember where. It was at one time it was a nursery school on Lake Street, and then it became a liquor store.
Okay.
It was Marie's Lake Street Spirits, and then Marie's moved down the road a little bit.
Okay.
But anyway, right across the street, there were these houses that looked like castles. You remember what I'm talking about? They almost looked like Russian kind of architecture.
No.
3-story homes, very majestic and everything, but we lived in there. Well, anyway, the VJ Day Parade was 10 times bigger than it is now. Well, of course, we've gone through COVID and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Clowns.
Yeah.
Clowns. They were throwing candy and stuff, hit me in the head. And I was like, don't do that. The clown came up and got in my face, scared the living bejesus out of me. I literally chasing me around my mother's lawn chair. And I'm like, Mom, stop the clown. Oh, Michael, stop it. This is the clown. I hate clowns.
Just that shows what the issue is.
One of
Whack in the head.
one of the underlying issues.
Yeah, it's got a Tootsie Roll symbol on the back of his head.
Yeah. All right. So a couple comments. First one here is Jeff Durgan. Good old Google. Easiest way to break it down as far as the stipend is not subject to labor laws like minimum wage. It is not really considered payment for work. Salary is all of those things.
Mhm.
This allows stipends to be significantly lower than stipends. Okay. And Facebook user who happens to be Victoria Robinson Lewis. Leon has done a great job with Bike Night. It all started with a simple idea, and it's really grown.
Absolutely. Hats off to Leon. He's done a great job with that.
So let's get back into what has Kevin Cunningham done over the last? What do you think has been your largest accomplishment in your? Let's say your 3 terms. No, you can go back 2005 if you want. Your time as First Selectman.
Yep.
What do you think has been your largest and or most impactful accomplishment? Whether it was you or you and a team, team led, whatever it is, whatever you had a hand in, what do you think is the most impactful project that has hit Plainfield
so far?
So far.
So
far.
Very
good.
The borough of Cunninghamville.
The village of Cunningham.
Keeping the taxes low, and people don't understand. They always say the taxes are high. Comparatively, if you take a look at the list of 169 towns, our mill rate is 13th from the bottom. So we've done very well with that. We just had a reval, obviously.
You're in the bottom 10%.
Yeah. And then you're looking at this as a way.
And you have a police department.
Yeah, and a police department, which we are very happy to have and support. We have been bringing businesses in. While Amazon isn't open, we're still getting taxes from that building. If you take a look around, if you've gone to online to take a look at the Amazon from Johnston, Rhode Island, they are now going to delay for over a year. So it's going to be like that for a while.
Is it because of lack of worker bees?
Nope.
Or it's
Nope.
just
They overextended themselves. They thought that the economy was going to go boom. Instead, the economy's leveled or actually dropped down a little bit. So really, if you take a look at the one in Johnston, Rhode Island, that's 4 million square feet. And they're going to hold it off for a year. They had an article about 3 weeks ago saying they're going to hold off for another year.
Who's writing articles?
This is out of Providence.
Okay, because it's not around here.
No, I search, and all you do is do a search on Amazon and the Johnston, Amazon Johnston. You'll see the article. The one in my hometown, original Leicester, Massachusetts. There's a one that was built there, same as ours, not doing anything. The one over in Douglas area, that's another 4 million, and they're talking about holding off on letting that go to completion. So they overextended. They're waiting for the economy to build back up, and then we'll see some action. In the meantime, they're looking to actually lease it out, which I would say to them, point blank, why would you lease out something to a business? You've got 200,000 square feet of your business starting up, and then in 5 years you say to them, you know what? The economy's changed. Get out. I'm not going to want to lease that, knowing that that's an option. So there's some different ways of thinking about it, but that's a good one. There's another business, and I can't mention it yet, but you will see that there'll be something in the planning and zoning, hopefully in September, where there is a request to change the 1 million square foot of footprint.
Off exit 88 or the old exit 88 we're talking
14A,
about?
yep. And that will now increase to 1.2 square. You have to go through a couple of meetings on that one, and it'll be done. And during that process, you'll have the announcement from that company probably they're coming in. But very, very good company. I think I've spoken about this before, but for anybody that wants to listen, it's a warehouse job. $17 to $19 you get for warehouse jobs now. Some have good benefits, some are okay. If you wanted to apply for the position, it's a $25 an hour base with a $6 an hour bonus. So you're making $31 an hour.
And this is this new company that's coming in?
Yep.
Okay.
31 an hour for a warehouse job. That's number one. You apply for the job, you have a 3-hour test, and it has a lot of math in it. You get past that, they're doing the background check for drug and alcohol. You get past that, excellent. Now you're going to go for a psych eval.
Well, I'm done.
Wow.
So you think about what they're looking for.
Oh,
they're looking for the best of the best because their retention rate for employees is 92%.
Wow.
You go to any other warehousing, and you're talking anywhere from 15 to 38, 39% tops.
$31 an hour is nothing to.
Good benefits.
That's good.
They try not to. They do not work on Sundays. They try not to work on Saturdays.
Wow.
They try to be a community-friendly company. So I think that what they're looking to do is make the proper announcement. I'm going to let them do that. That's their business. But I can guarantee that people will be happy with the type of company coming in. So that's a great accomplishment.
Yes.
Jobs, tax revenue, helping to offset your mill rate.
Yeah.
How would the landowners, when it comes to selling their property, do they try to overprice themselves so that they're making big bucks on this, or are they reasonable? So,
What would you do?
well, I would try to get every buck I can.
There you go.
But let's not go crazy here either.
Right. I mean, that's why they negotiate. They'll negotiate, back and forth. Property values, they go out and do the same homework that anybody else would do. They'll look at their locals. They're going to do the comparisons and the assessments.
Is that some of the things that's occurring in Griswold here? Is a lot of the property owners are looking to get the highest amount they can get.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Meanwhile, they're sitting. I mean, they have a chance to sell a property, but unfortunately, because they're being over anxious to get the most for it, they're losing customers. They're gone, and may sit on it again for months and years. So, I was just curious.
Yeah, it's. I would do the same. I would to a point. I mean, you're not going to get triple what your value is, but you're going to get something.
I mean, if you're going to make some money back, but don't go crazy and think
I think the other side of that negotiation is the fact that if you're going to sell your property right now, where are you going to go to? You can't. I mean, the prices are so high that you're not going to. You're basically going to go even, unless you're going to downsize.
Right.
But
there's a comment here from Scott. Must be nice to have economic development and growth in your town.
well,
look,
I think 395 is finally opening up, and I think that every town is actually going to gain from this. A matter of when. The question is really when. You were going to have a data center. I guess Killingly is going to take care of that one for you.
Something happened there. I think it
Waterford.
was
the one that is they're going to have a town meeting in Killingly to vote on sale of their own property, so that this company can come in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to hear about Killingly because I thought
they don't have a municipality.
They don't have a municipality, and I thought the whole thing that was worked out with the
Electric
legislature was working with the municipalities. So now they're with Eversource. So they must have worked out some deal.
We were used as a pawn.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. Just to reflect back on Scott, when I talked about property owners selling their property is a possible reason why we're not getting some folks coming in to put economic development in the town. The land is there. The property owners are asking outrageous prices, and what ends up happening is they're gone. I know in cases where offers have been made and they've ignored it.
Yep.
So that's just to discuss. Let's go back.
I'm going to go back to the one that the new
Go ahead.
business that's going to be making their announcement soon.
Yep.
Just to show what you can and can't do. We were up against 2 other towns. One was in Providence.
Yep.
One was up in Massachusetts, Dudley area. So we were told that. We had representatives from the company come visit us. And what we were asked, make sure you get your building official there and, so we can talk to him about some things, or fire marshal. And so I said, would it be okay if we brought in our police chief and we have our villages for our fire department. So we have our chief from our Plainfield village. And so it'd be okay to have them in as well. Sure. So they came in, we had, we did the usual, I wouldn't say usual, but we did a nice presentation with some coffee and pastries and invited them in and made the introductions. And we were there back and forth with questions and answers to help everybody out. And one of the things I also did was I explained to them that we have, for a building official, what we did for Amazon is we had a building official who would be there every morning. And that way they did their punch list, making sure that everything was checked off. They verified everything was done well. It saved Amazon a lot of money instead of waiting monthly or bi-monthly to go through your checklist. And it would have delayed all of their building. We offer the same thing, even though I spoke to our retiring building official at the time, and I said, look, would you consider doing the same thing for them in a part-time capacity? And he said, yeah. So when we got to the table, I said, by the way, to save you some money and to do it right, our retiring building official said he would stay on just for you. And you would be saving a lot of money at that time for the building process. So I think all of those things put together and being
extra mile.
You go that extra mile to be supportive and work with them to know that we value them coming in for lots of different reasons. As a company, as a partner for the town of Plainfield, the jobs that it would bring. I mean, tax revenue is tax revenue, but really what we're looking to be is a partner. So that's how you approach it, in my opinion, anyway, for economic development. You try to work with everybody to see if you can find some happy middle ground. And so that was one of the things they told us was the other 2 places they went to, nada. It wasn't like that at all. So that's, I know I want to say thank you to our town workers, because that's what we try to strive and pride ourselves on, is that whether you're a police, whether you're a fire marshal, whether you're a fire chief, it's a town, and a town that comes together.
You're all operatives of the same town, working towards the same goal.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Well,
anyways, so you asked the question, what am I proud of? I'm proud of keeping the mill rates down. Unfortunately, this year was reval, but we do our best to work now on the next budget season and get that back.
There are
down.
some things that are just not in your control.
Right. And that was one of them. That's every 5 years, the state requires revals. And the worst time to have a reval is now, because your property values are so high.
Yeah.
It may be like that for another year or so, but it was bad.
Victoria just says that in Sterling, their house values went up 43.7%.
Well, ours went up 55. Property values for businesses, 25.
Yeah.
So it was put mostly on the backs of the taxpayers' homes this time. So we'll do what we can to minimize or have no mill increase next time, and still be able to produce and give quality services and produce other things that can be done. Speaking of other things that can be done, I said it was a busy weekend.
Yeah.
We started off with fireworks, with a band at the fireworks for the night before. Then there was DJ parade. Oh, I should back it up, because during that morning, they started doing something new over in Plainfield with the rec department. We did the Jeep invasion at the town hall. Now, you've been at the track over there, 200 plus vehicles for Jeep invasion. They had a couple of events over there, so great time. And then that nighttime was the fireworks and the band, and then VJ parade, and then Kevin collapsed. So that was, it was
Legit
hot.
collapse?
No, it was hot.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
was it,
beat.
huh?
Yeah,
I was on a cruise. Oh, anyway.
yeah.
No, I think it's so cool. Let's just the VJ Day Parade. That is, there's two in the country right now, or is this the only one?
Nope. Actually, I did a little research, and you have 3 events throughout the entire country. 3 events,
Okay.
and I'll use that term. The first one is in
Ohio?
Indiana,
Oh, okay, I was close. Okay, never mind.
and that one, if I can pull it up again, because I did messages to a bunch of my teammates.
Didn't Jewett City have a VJ paper many years ago? I thought Jewett City had one.
I don't know.
A long, long time ago.
Yeah, pull it up here. We got did a little research on the days around on VJ days around the U.S. Our village of Moosup is one of the 3 that celebrate the VJ event. One is in Seymour, Indiana, and it's a one-day gathering for a benediction and a meal at VF Post 1925. The other is a 3-day event in Arma, Kansas, called the VJ Homecoming, which started in 1946. Obviously, the signing in 45. They were celebrating the fact that their troops came home, and they were very happy to have them back. So in 1946, they had an American Legion Post 182. They have a parade. They have family contests, a dance, bed racing, mud volleyball, etc. So while our community is not the only one to have a parade, we certainly take pride in what we have for sharing with our veterans and our residents. And I said thank you to everybody for being part of the community and coming out for that day.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are 3 events, but 2 parades. Yeah.
Let's see. Pam Padalano. Good morning, Pam.
Hey, Pam.
Says Griswold is in desperate need of a visionary leader. We should be a lot further along with EDC and growth in general. Kevin Cunningham, you're doing a great job. In Plainfield, your efforts are greatly appreciated.
Well, thank you, Pam.
That seems to be the general consensus. I'm assuming you have your detractors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't really hear to, and we try to play it right down the middle.
Yep.
I get it. But there are a lot of times where I haven't really heard a lot. And I'm being honest. We hear good things, we hear bad things about people that are in office in most towns. Paul, can you say that you've really heard anything negative about Kevin Cunningham?
Not really.
Tom Sparkman either, to be honest with you. You guys are like squeaky clean.
Well, we try to be involved.
Well, the advantage you guys has all your infrastructure there.
And I have a team. I have a team of people. It's called my town hall employees, my police department, my highway department, my rec department, my sewer department. That's the team. Yep. You have to rely on each other to help each other out. Yep. Board of Education.
Makes sense.
Board of Education, same thing. We work in partnership.
Yeah,
Let me just do this.
Hard to
I'm going to run down a list. You tell me what you want to talk about.
I mean, it's hard for us to compare us against you. Because you're
it's
a much
different.
bigger town. You're
Different entities.
Yeah, right. You got it.
Matter of fact, this week we're working with the old Plainfield Cemetery. We currently were contracted with a company who is paid for by a resident to come in to do the old Plainfield Cemetery mowing and trimming.
Okay.
We have someone else who's going to take our newly hired staff member, Paul Gedney, maintenance person, fantastic maintenance guy. So he's going to go over. We're going to meet with the company that's doing the mowing this last time before Labor Day, and we're going to go over what we can do to take it over. And I have full confidence that Paul will be able to take that next year. We only mow it for like 4 times a year anyway.
Yeah.
Small business assistance program. We had money from ARPA. We put $350,000 into it for applications that have certain guidelines they had to follow. But it's money that goes back to the community, whether it's nonprofit or it's a small business that needs support and help to continue growing. And so I'm proud of that because it helps our businesses, which helps residents, which helps tax base, all that. Continue doing road repair and paving. I got a good little story about this one. We had 3 projects by the Connecticut Water Company. One was complete, $111,000 in payment in lieu of. Now, although you can either have them repave it, or you can take the payment in lieu of.
Yep.
We took the payment in lieu of, and I'll tell you why. We believe that when they put that patching down, it's going to be fine for years. It's fine. As long as you get a good patch in, you're good for years. So now you can use the payment in lieu of to go to do other roads. So I got 111,000 for the first one. We'll get 175 for the second one. They're going to start another one at the end of August, beginning of September. It'll hopefully be done before the end of December. If not, it goes into the spring, but we'll get another 135 from that. That's monies, which I'm proud to say are going to be going right back into paving other roads. And I've already started to put it out there for bid, state bid, to do some more roads this year because it'll be cheaper to do them this year than it would be for next. So we're working on that. You know, we have Connecticut DOT road bridge repairs, and we had a meeting with that with the state DOT. So they'll be doing some more of the under bridge off of 395. We've been working on a plan for emergency services. Like if you have an emergency situation, what do? You have to have a plan in place. Are they going to go to the high school? Are they going to go to a bigger building?
Right.
And how do you coordinate all of that? So we've been working with members of NECOG. We're using the Plainfield High School. We have a plan started up through DEMIS.
I think you guys are supposed to be the emergency center for
Yep.
surrounding towns.
Yep.
Where Griswold residents would go to Plainfield for.
Yep, supportive services.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like a lot. Again, it's a little minutia, but I'm happy to say that I'm proud of it because every single time you have a vote, how do you tell the public what the vote is and when it is? Well, we have everything you can think of. If you want to sign up online, you can go to Nixle and it'll go just right to your phone, a message to your phone. Don't forget, voting tomorrow, 7 p.m., town vote at the town hall. Or
you know how many people are going to show up at the town hall tomorrow at 7 p.m.? Kevin said there was a vote.
Yeah. So you have a Nixle, you have the Facebook page, town Facebook page, you have a town website. You can go to the Turnpike Buyer, to the Norwich Bulletin. You can post it. There's 4 boards around town in each village to post it there. We try to get as much information out as possible to say that something's happening. So we also bought signs. Vote next Tuesday. Vote next Monday. Because they see a sign around town and they go, oh, I didn't know something was going on. They may not read the other things, but at least they see that sign. So, the small things sometimes are things that make me happy like that. So we had 3 positive audits that are completed. We hired a grant writer who's brought in over $2.5 million in grants. Our fireworks, I'm very happy with those. We have an HVAC system in the town hall now, HVAC system in the auditorium, HVAC system in all the offices. And we've been doing that because we want to, this is kind of an important piece. Look, we lost the annex. The annex is no longer going to be there because we didn't do a good job over the years of having a plan of what to do with it and having the foresight to go to the public and say, if you want to maintain it, you better understand that it's going to cost. Mm-hmm. There was no electricity to it. That meant there's no HVAC system in it. The roof was bad. We should have fixed it then. But all those things combined means that we've learned those lessons about what we should do. So I am making sure that the town hall, which is older than the old high school, it was built in 1920. The high school was 1924. We're maintaining it to the point where we know it's going to be around for a long time to come. So that's why I'm proud of the HVAC systems in there because it'll maintain. We have to do a new ramp on the front because it's no longer something you can just live with. It's not it's so much the ramp's okay.
Bumpy?
No, it's the steep ramp. It's not ADA compliant. You watch someone trying to roll up that, it's not good. So we're working on that, whether we do it this fiscal year or next, it'll get done. We have a senior resource grant, which we applied for, and every town had the same problem. By the way, you're probably still waiting for the 11-passenger van. If you applied for the 5310 grant, it's a grant that gives you an opportunity to match a little bit of dollars for a big investment for a van.
I thought they got our van.
Well,
I thought we could get it.
You might have bought one, but through this program.
Well, I know the senior center, they wanted to keep the one that they have for the time being because the seniors were having trouble accessing the van in the new one. I guess it was a lot easier in the older one for them to step up into as opposed to the new one.
So the federal government had a contract with Ford. Ford broke the contract and that delayed it. Now you go through COVID, it delayed it even further. So the cost skyrocketed.
Oh, of course.
But the federal government came through and I want to thank them for that. They came up with the difference, the cost. So we'll get it probably the spring, maybe summer of next year.
Quick question for you though.
Yep.
Daryl wants to know, would you consider running for a bigger position in the state of Connecticut?
I cannot run for my wife's position. I'm sorry. Because she's the boss. Would I consider it? Um, I guess, but the problem, I can tell you right now what the problem is. You don't want to just say, hey, I'm going to run for this type of a jump, because you still need to know all the things that are going on in the state. And I applaud the legislators that are there now. We have 3 great people that cover the eastern part of our state. I would even include you have Ann Dauphiné, you've got Doug Dubitsky, you've got Heather Summers, and they do a lot.
3 Republicans too.
Yeah, and now take a look at what they get paid.
$28K.
Woo!
Got a lot of money.
Yeah, I can't.
That's why I get a kick out of people when they say, "Well, they're making so much money," and I'm like,
they're confused with the people in Washington.
Yep, totally different. So while I appreciate the thought, would I do dual? How can I service my town like I do now?
Yeah.
I have that passion for my town, so I would say,
like the lady in Spreck.
Yeah, respectfully, I'd pass. But yeah,
I want to caveat that to another question.
Yeah.
Don't take this the wrong way.
Yep.
Yeah. How old are you now? 62.
Keep going.
Okay. All right. So let's leave it at that.
Yep. I'll be 66 this November.
Okay. Do you feel with your political career to move up to other things that maybe you're a little late to the party?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know
No.
if because I would think myself, if I was, I'm 57, I don't think I would start my political career now, because I'm thinking, well, what if I was successful at it? Then I'd be like 90 by the time. And I'm like, no.
It's hard for people in this side of the state.
And I didn't mean that in a negative way. I'm just saying, you do have a lot of popularity.
Everybody's a little different in the way they approach what they love. This is what I love, so I see the energy would continue. Whether it would be 7, if it was me, my wife, she would want me to work forever, and I would love to do that because that's great. It keeps me active, keeps me passionate. I know that there's a point where eventually I'll just say that's enough.
Yeah. I wasn't assuming, or even insinuating that now it was the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of curious, like,
I understood. Yep.
Like, let's say you're you go to and you become state rep and state senator and then U.S. senator and then president. I mean,
no.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough in this state for a person from this party.
I don't know, dude. I think Malloy's really pushing.
No, I just think it's pretty tough because, let's face it, Hartford's fully Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole other part of the state is pretty much Democrat.
I'm thinking Malloy's really looking for a Hartford. They're looking for a Washington job.
No, Lamont,
whatever his name.
Malloy's playing financial guy someplace in Massachusetts.
See, I don't even care.
New Hampshire or whatever. No, I think you're right. I just think it'd be tough.
It's tough.
It's not going to be easy. You
have to have a good grassroots support system to do that. Let's say they use the governor position.
Yeah.
You have to have a good grassroots. You have to be involved in other things too. Like if I was more involved in CCM, Connecticut Conference Municipalities, taking a position there for support. If I was working in other areas, but if I do that, I'm then taking a lot of time away from what I can do is my current passion, which is the town.
Exactly.
So I do enough reading and enough background information first. I couldn't do that.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
Victoria says you have another 25 years before you get turned out to pastor, Kevin.
Okay.
Moving on.
Hey, how about this one? Your federal government come up with an opioid settlement, right? And each town has some monies out of that. So we're working on different avenues we could do to share information, programming support for that. So I'm going to work with other towns, including Norwich's approach. Can we pool all of our money together in this area? So
like regionally.
Yeah. Yep. If anybody been down to the parking lot for Railroad Ave, downtown Plainfield, take a look at the lights over there. That's what I want to continue the theme with throughout the town. Those are some, I want to pat myself on the back, but those are beautiful. They're also supported because they keep that parking lot safe. You now have a light over there. But I want to do that in the Moosip area, downtown Moosip, lost because of Eversource. The trees that were planted down there years ago grew too tall and they grew into the power lines. Could you put more trees there and continue to shape them and keep them low, sure, it's a lot of maintenance. But the color was you missing throughout the year.
Yeah.
My plan is to do those same types of lights, not those exactly, but same type of lights, and put them throughout downtown Moosup for a couple of reasons. One, on one side, you could put banners to say the different events that are happening. On the other side, you could put flowers, a hanging basket of flowers. So now you bring back that color.
Yeah.
And the other thing it brings is the light. So you're expanding the light, so it makes it safer downtown.
That was a thought in a borough here. Same thing.
Yep.
I'm my head's just spinning with all of these things and instances that are happening in the town of Plainfield, not just economic development, but we're talking about sidewalks, we're talking about ramps, we're talking about lights and making it, and putting flower boxes and recreation.
Have you heard about the Quinnebog Valley Trail, the one that stops in Killingly? We want to continue that all the way down and go all the way to be connected to the Moosup Valley State Trail. So we're working on those plans right now as well.
It's mind-boggling to
they're
me.
starting this up. I think they're starting it today. Is the continuation for the Moosup Valley State Trail, and I want to add something to that. Great, finally we're getting to the point we're doing it. But even better, the fact that we have people in our town who are volunteers who are doing a fantastic job. And I want to put the shout out to Plainfield Beautification. That association goes around town and looks for little things they can clean up. Weeding things, putting up flowers. Downtown Moosup is looking fantastic, and they've been part of that. They don't even know this one. The state told us, okay, we're going to start working on the trail. And I sent pictures of the upgrades that the Plainfield Beautification just did in the downtown area that starts that trail off in Moosup. And I said, this group is fantastic. They want to be able to be supportive and helping in all sorts of things, including your trail. And the state came back and said, give them a hand because they're doing a great job and they're very proud of that fact that they're working in partnership. So that's the type of stuff. That the Lions Park, we're going through the P&Z and getting those things finalized to put up new ventures over there. The Lions Park concludes with starting off in September. We'll be putting up the new playground area, which is ADA compliant playground. Has more things for supportive services for needs. We also have the plan to put up the bathrooms, 2 bathrooms in a pavilion area in the front. This is all like phase 1, phase 2. Phase 1 continues on with the basketball courts, the exercise area, and also the volleyball court. Phase 2 will be concluding with the splash pad, the raised stage at the other end of the track, the pavilion, lights and cameras around that area. So those are the things that we're proud of that on Alliance Park. We have 162 acres off of Kate Downing Road, just past where the skate-in is. And there's the highway overpass. Yep. Right there to the right-hand side is 162 acres of passive recreation. We've had a committee put together that's worked out some details of...
We used to go parking back then.
That was you.
That was me.
Okay. We got film of that.
Talk about passive recreation.
Yeah.
That's 30 years.
No.
We used to call it Fonzie's Cove. I'm not kidding you.
Wow.
Yeah. That's weird. Never mind.
So it's a hiking trail with nature trail included in it. We have a bicycle trail, can't do motors, and horse trail. And then hopefully a disc golf area over there as well. So
what about pickleball?
Pickleball, the high school was supposed to change over the high school courts to pickleball courts. I don't know how far along they've got, if at all, but that was the plan. Then the final piece is changing over what the annex is. That footprint is now going to be, applied for a steep grant for $500,000. Hopefully we get that. And that'll be, Putnam has that pavilion they use for farmers market.
Yes. We're on Kennedy Drive.
Yeah, we're going to be bigger. Ours is going to end up being 140 by 60 with 2 bathrooms. And it'll end up, we own the property behind it now because the school gave us the softball area. So that will be inclusive. So you can have farmers market, you can have craft fairs, music fests, food fairs, and eventually we'll get to the across the street for another grant to redo the parking lot. So those are the things that we... Oh, have I got more?
Wow.
We're while you're looking at more things that you're doing, one of the things that we're doing here in Connecticut, in Griswold, is we're creating sculptures out of nip bottles.
You get nip money?
Yeah, we're gonna make sculptures and just put them out everywhere.
What are your that? Wait a minute. That's your nip bottle money. You're doing sculptures.
No.
Which was a point of contention a while back.
Okay.
Yeah, the town and the borough. It's like
Oh,
my
gosh.
money, my money, my.
I didn't even have that on the list, but basically our nip bottle money we're using. By the way, nip bottle money changed from 5 cents to 10.
Oh.
That's now in effect.
Is it in effect now?
Yep.
July 1.
Yep. So what we're doing with that is we've earmarked the monies collectively. Each time we get it, we're putting it into this kitty. It will go towards a new sweeper. So it's less money for the municipality to pay for. We went for a bond for $4 million for the upgrade for the sewer department. We've already got some money we used from ARPA for that. When I was a couple years ago, I said, we need to get this certain device, which is not just a mower. It's called Ventrek. If you look it up online, the Ventrek has this articulation in a midpoint of the actual machine. So you have the front section of it, which holds onto your devices, and then you've got the area that you sit on, but it basically pinpoint pivots. Mm-hmm. Well, you can get many, many devices. We have a snow blower. We have a snow brush. We have what we just used this past week, which is a stump grinder. And so downtown Plainfield, where the stumps were there by Cumberland Farms, we ground them all out. And we're going to continue using that machine around town for town properties.
We want to Cumberland Farms.
Well, don't you have something like that now? No. Never mind. Yeah, I did have a nip bottle money on here.
You're making it look bad.
You gotta look for the other things too. Like, look,
we got a nice new multi-purpose field. That's absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely.
You ain't got one of those. Ha ha ha.
I'm not paying for it. I'm not paying for it either. Ha ha ha.
Oh, speaking of which, we are going to go ahead and we're going to have the Board of Education on tomorrow for Griswold. We'll have Sean McKenna, the superintendent, and Mary Beth Malin, who is the chair of the Board of Ed. And by the way, you see it on the screen right there. Look at that. That's a beautiful, beautiful beverage tumbler. 2023 Griswold High School football hot cold beverage tumbler.
Oh, well, advertisement. Time for an advertisement break. Commercial break.
That's it. Scan it right there. It's got it has the Griswold High School schedule on it as well. And when you sit in a very cold football game, have it put up there with a lot of hot coffee. So anyway, get your tumbler. All right, Kevin, sorry.
Oh, that was the only commercial?
That's it. That's all it.
Yeah, the first commercial.
Right.
Well, no, other than that, we are here at the Burns Agency studio. Did you know that?
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent.
Here in Jewett City.
What's the Paragon? What's that?
Paragon is this building.
Okay.
It's a work share co-op building where you can you can rent space on a membership level.
Mm-hmm.
There are different rooms that are available, offices, whether they're like let's say we have counselors on the other side of the building. There's us. Matt's mission is downstairs.
Nice.
And there's plenty of room available.
You ain't got one of those.
But even if you need to come in for a month, you know what I mean, and get some stuff done. There's a conference room available / classroom.
Yeah.
There's a lot of amenities here.
Yep.
For if you don't want to, do a long-term lease somewhere in an office, come to Paragon, 70 Main Street, Jewett City.
We do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Damn it.
There's a business in town which leases out space, whether it's for computer use or for office area. So we do.
That's good too. That's really cool.
We do. We've done some applications for the Moosa Pond for herbicide. I want to keep the milfoil down. My plan in the future.
Stuff. Yeah.
In the future, I want to actually expand the boat ramp a little bit, a little wider, and also put a boat wash there. That's a plan in the future. People ask questions all the time about what's going on with the Interoil, what's going on with command. I can give you a little bit of an update. We've for the town has applied to get grant monies for testing what is actually in the Interoil site. There's a group called Eastern Connecticut Land Bank who's doing the same thing for command. When those results come back for the Interoil site, there's a gentleman that wants to buy. He wants to put up different projects over there. So we're very happy that if we can go to the next step and finally get some money from the applications we've been filing for SIF, it seems like nobody on this part of the state gets SIF monies because I guess we don't have that, as we mentioned before, the monies that are being given to run certain campaigns at the state level, governor, that level. You're not named Bridgeport, you're not named New Haven or Greenwich area, which
We are
is
looking
getting all,
into CERT.
and they're getting all the SIF grants. So we hope we can, because I think this eastern part of the state really deserves, the recognition and the ability to upgrade. And those plans that are out there for different towns are things that are needed. So I want them to really consider us before I really go off the rails and say what I really mean to say about them.
I do want to, before we get in there, I do want to thank the Facebook group Plainfield residents for not deleting the broadcast this morning, because I know they don't like live video on there, but I think they see the value.
Yeah.
This is definitely something that's worth, town residents.
Yeah. I would say this, that's excellent, because we've mentioned at the beginning that I'm accessible. I have people come into my office or call on the phone all the time, but honestly, need to share that information. If you want to know, say, Kevin, you talked a little bit about, you have the iPark, which is full, and you're now talking about maybe making iPark 2. Well, that requires me to sit there and work with a landowner to try to negotiate something so we can continue on with that theme of putting more industry into the town. So can you talk a little bit more about that? We won't have a lot of time on this show, but we will have time in my office if you want to come and talk. We can explain some of the things that we're trying to do. Do you know about the other thing is Moose Green? So in downtown Moose, you have that grassy area between Cumberland Farms and Walgreens. The town owns that property. Here's the plan. We're looking to utilize that as a small activity for a venue for different, like small 1 or 2 piece band or readings.
Like live music or something, and
or for readings or for just small events.
Sure.
Okay, so
how many people can fit there?
You could fit probably about 60, 70 people in that park. If you're doing like a small concert, absolutely. There's some parking spots there. We own some parking on the other side.
I was just going to ask you, what about parking?
Yep. Yeah, we planned this out very well. So we're going to do 6 park benches, a gazebo, small gazebo with power, with lights, with camera, a brick walkway to the middle of it. And then we'd be able to utilize more and more of that park for different events, whether it's a small food truck, whether it's 4 different events that are being held downtown. We also have that yard sale. It's called the Moose Up Yard Sale, and they do it every year, September 16th. That's a good plug, isn't it? So another good plug on the same day, unfortunately, is also the Celebrate Plainfield Day at the town hall. So we're very happy to say that we can utilize that village. That village is Mission Moose Up, who started up a Let's Make Our Village Better. They do cleanups. They do work with different businesses, and they're trying to we're doing movie night this Friday again. So it's something that's in cooperation with the Plainfield Little League, using the site, using their concession stand for popcorn from the Lions, using the rec department's audio visual so they can do the movie. Rah-rahs will be there. So those are the things you want to keep doing and promoting. So that's why Moose Green is important to do things like that.
Sure.
Let's see. Oregon sidewalks are now going up. If you drive by Shepherd Hill, you'll see them almost completed. Dow Road Bridge, we finally got permission from the state to start that project. So the Dow Road Bridge replacement will happen. The bid will go out in late fall. They'll stockpile the materials and then start it in the spring. We were doing the curb cut at the Moosa Park. The same gentleman doing the demolition for the annex is doing the curb cut, so he's kind of backed up. I wanted to buy, we do a NECOG bus route, which I fought hard for when I first got in. So we do the NECOG bus route, which connects to CCOG. So it does help. We're very, very involved in it because our numbers are very high within NECOG as far as percentage of rides for NECOG. And
I remember when you guys put that the public hearing support in place, it was like the need. It was so many people were excited about that because you guys hadn't had it.
Yeah. And now we had it years ago, stopped using it, and I helped to bring it back in. Now I want to put those overhead bus stops with benches. So I'm pricing those out for what we could do for a future.
Yeah.
Let's see.
People are loving the fire hydrants. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, those are very good.
More coming, I guess. From what I
Well,
understand.
we're trying to find the ones that are decommissioned. We thought we had a couple more in downtown, right beside the town hall, but unfortunately, they need to be capped and taken out because there's new ones there now.
Got it.
I'm doing work with job descriptions. Every single employee needs a job description. We never really had one. And those had to be approved by each of the unions, the ones that are going through unions. So I have to work on that. I have a plan in the future for transfer station. Our current transfer station contract is with, it's not Willimantic Waste anymore, it's Casella. But the rates keep going up.
Yeah, they do. Although it came down this month.
So
It
that's
came
a-
down with Willimantic Waste too.
Yeah.
They're playing ball with each other now.
Yeah, they came down a little bit. I think they came down like $10 because people were switching.
Yep. And as a matter of fact, when they first
They had to stop the bleeding.
updated their numbers, I contacted 3 different companies, asked them when they consider coming in. 2 did, and it's made that competition, which is what I think is fair for the residents, because what you're going to get stuck with a higher rate otherwise. So worked hard for that one. What else? Transfer station. Transfer station it's okay, but the rates right now, town of Plainfield pays $250,000. I want to make it so there's nothing in our taxes. And how do I do that? I do what other towns do. You have a transfer station in which you have a scale. You come in and use the scale. On the way back out, you use it again. You charge your fee based on the weight. That's it. So now, if you use it, you pay for that one trip, and you only go maybe once or twice a year. We don't use it. We're not paying anything in our taxes. So I'm trying to make it so that I'm minimizing the taxes. That's how you get down to a 0 mill increase. You try to do things like that. Think all the time, where can I make cuts but still give services?
Right.
So that's some of those things that I do.
Yeah, we have to pay for a permit. Use it once, you still pay the same price.
Yeah. Every
And
town's a
of course,
little
you can use
different.
it again.
You
but-
buy the bags in one town, you do the paper for the actual permit. Years ago, when I was in office before, I did something which I thought was cost effective. You have in your town multiple homes, which are actually landlords who buy the houses, but they live in another town.
Right.
Well, they thought it was appropriate that they get a sticker too. Why? If you got 12 houses that are up and down the 395 corridor and you're remodeling and taking all your stuff to Plainfield, well, Plainfield has to pay for that eventually. So I didn't think that was appropriate.
Right.
So I said, you have to be a resident of, and that was in the contract with Willimantic Waste. So you have to be a resident, have to show the proof of the registration of the vehicle and your license. You couldn't be a snowbird. Same sort of thing. You own properties in multiple places. Look, if you're going to go in and you're only here 6 months and you only use it once a year, you're going to pay $25, $30. I don't think that's a big deal.
We pay 45 for one permit. I think it's 40.
Yeah.
You mean for the dump
For the transfer
station?
Yeah. Use it once or use it 12 times, it's still $45.
Yeah.
I thought there was a certain amount. And they punch a card.
They do punch a card, but
You get a free coffee after the 4th one.
yeah, you can.
And pound cake.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really
You,
good.
you can go to where the garbage area is and just take a straw, and all you can eat for free.
Oh, excellent.
So, everybody, that is, we really appreciate you hanging with us today and getting some information from our first selectman in Plainfield, Kevin Cunningham, who's looking for re-election this November. That's coming up. He's looking for term number 4, technically, 3 in a row.
Yes.
The hat trick.
Hat trick.
The hat trick. So,
Is that called the golden sombrero? The baseball term for striking out every at bat.
I don't know.
Is it 4 times,
the
though?
collar?
The collar. The collar's 3.
Or that's 0 for 4 is the collar.
Okay.
I don't know if it's striking out off. It's just sucking 4 bats in a row. You ever heard of the Savannah Bananas?
Yes.
I had a friend that went to see them on vacation. They said they're phenomenal. They're weird. They're different how they play baseball.
Yeah, I've seen the videos. Yeah.
Yeah. But do you know, I mean, they don't play like a game. It's like if it's 1 inning, right? And if you win the inning you get 1 point. You go to the next inning, if you win, you get a point. That's how they play. Thank you for coming. I appreciate
Thank you
you
for
coming,
having me.
especially, I mean, really, it's pretty, you always come in on short notice, and I really appreciate that. I mean, we want to be your information connection here in Eastern Connecticut. unfortunately, there's really no newspaper, that covers us.
We were talking about that before, and the fact that we've lost the final person who was coming out doing articles. Matter of fact, for those people who follow the Norwich Bulletin, you'll notice that there was an article that came out just the other day that
Kind of why I
reviewed the four towns that have their pays for their employees for town hall areas, the entire town, and then one for the Board of Education. And those articles were done before by this person, and somehow I looked at the headline. It's like, oh, is this something new? No, they regurgitated the same 8 articles under the same name.
Yeah.
For the same person. So I don't see a lot of news, unfortunately, coming out of Norwich Bulletin.
And I don't unfortunately think you're going to see. I grew up on the Bulletin. I really did.
I think a lot of people did.
Sure.
But even the electronic version has nothing in it.
No, there's nothing in it.
Oh, I know.
There's one new article a day.
They don't have any writers. That's the thing. They can spice up the world of obituaries, but that's about all they got right now. Yeah. It's like 7 pages of. Well, anyway, I feel bad because, like I said, I grew up in the Norwich Bulletin. And that was the paper, but the way things have changed, the printing industry is just unfortunately. So, but we'll hopefully we'll be able to get you in here again before.
I mean, 82 days worth of.
I
got to count it down.
82 days, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's always good to hear from you.
So what's this?
You always make us look bad.
Couldn't you sell the bricks from Command? No, Victoria, we cannot sell the bricks from the Command because the town doesn't own that property.
Who does?
Command has. They're in receivership because of what happened with TD Development. They had a contract. They said, okay, we're going to sell it to you, and here's what you got to do. They didn't do their fulfillment, and therefore it's back in courts, and it's still in court, so to speak. But the control is with Command.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you, Kevin.
Anytime.
Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Paul, thank you very much for coming in, on short notice. Kathy couldn't come in today due to some, she had some family business she needed to take care of. So I hope everything is okay there. So we'll see you tomorrow. You'll be back tomorrow. We will have Board of Education here in Griswold, Sean McKenna, the superintendent, and Mary Beth Malin, who is the Board of Education chair. And they'll be doing that at 9:00 tomorrow right here on SNSN. Kevin, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.